Welcome to Unlocking Your Truth, another podcast by Dr. Leslie Phillips.
Hello everyone, welcome to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Leslie. My name is Dr. Leslie Phillips and I will be your host for the next hour. Now, Unlocking Your Truth is a talk show and we focus on subject matter that relates to metaphysics and spirituality and intuition. And we have been doing a little series on meditation, and so tonight we have another discussion topic around meditation, and what we've been focusing on is really what are the major blocks that get in people's ways when they want to have a regular meditation practice, or if they would like to use meditation to open their intuition. So you can be meditating for a variety of purposes. One can be to open and activate your intuition. Another could be just simply to relax and release and let go of effort, stress, and anxiety. And so, today we're talking about releasing effort. And if you're tuning in for the first time, I'll just explain how the show normally goes. We normally have a discussion topic for the first third of the show, and then we open the phone lines for you to phone us up and join in the chat if you have something that you'd like to say about the discussion topic, or if you would like to ask me a question and have a free intuitive reading live on air. So you can phone up and ask literally about anything that you would like an intuitive reading about, and we will do that for you. And you'll hear another voice on the show, and that is Corey. He also is in the studio with me. Hi, Corey. So let's talk about meditation and effort and what's happening when you get into effort. And a major difference between operating as a physical body and operating as spirit is the use of effort. And when we're meditating, we're wanting to operate as spirit. We're not wanting to operate as a body. We're actually wanting to sort of tune out the more physical aspects and tune into the more spiritual aspects. And so anytime that you go into effort when you are wanting to meditate, then you are approaching it through your body, because only your body uses effort. You, the spiritual consciousness, is completely without any effort at all. Everything exists. Everything is present. Everything is easy. Everything is in flow. So, when it comes to people who come to me and they want to either learn to meditate or they want to develop their intuition, one of the common questions I get is, am I doing it right? Because I try and I'm just not sure if I'm doing it right. And my answer is, if you're going into effort and you feel like you're trying hard and not succeeding, then your physical body is trying to take over the process. Most likely your brain and your intellect. And just to illustrate this, the physical body belongs in the physical world, and pretty much the material world involves time and space, and movement of solid objects takes effort. If you go back to physics at school, they probably taught you that effort is only needed to oppose a force in the opposite direction in which that force is traveling. So when in meditation it feels like effort to you, you're actually in opposition to your own desires for whatever it is that you're meditating for. So you're in opposition of your desire to be at peace. You're in opposition of your desire to tune into your higher guidance when you're in effort. Because if you weren't in opposition, you would be in flow. Effort is the opposite of going with the flow. And it's the opposite of following your intuition, and it's the opposite of following the life direction that your higher self has in store for you. Now, of course, it is not a surprise that many people struggle with this problem of effort when they want to approach spirituality and meditation, because our society is kind of set up to program us to do things with effort. We applaud grit and determination, hard work, willpower, discipline, struggling against all odds. And so a lot of us come to believe that something isn't worthwhile unless we're using effort to get it. And we might even feel guilty if we're not working hard at it, or if it comes too easy. And we might even judge people who operate from less effort as being dreamers living in a fantasy world. So what can we do about this? If you're somebody who wants to have a regular meditation practice, if you're somebody who wants to open your intuition, but you find that you're going into effort, that you're trying really hard and it's not quite flowing for you, what can you do? So let's go through some top 10, 15, 20 tips on how to release effort. Corey, while you've been listening to me talking, have you thought of any tips on how to release effort?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've got one that's I can expand on a little bit. But a lot of times when we want to do something in life, for instance, if we want to lose weight, exercise is important. But people have a problem exercising. They want to go out and exercise. But exercise, if you call it go for a walk, it's not exercise anymore and can be done. A lot of times it's the association we have with the verbiage. For instance, meditation. If you have a problem with meditation, call it mindfulness practice. Call it something different. And the other fact that I was thinking about was not every meditation style is fit for everybody. There are many different meditation styles. So you may have to shop around a little bit, try a few different ones before you find something that will pull you in and keep you excited enough to keep meditating or keep you happy enough to meditate in that practice.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. And, some of the other things, folks, that I might suggest. And, of course, as always, top of my list is, and it sounds funny, isn't it, sort of advocating meditation as the solution to help you get over your blocks to meditation. But it really is.
Okay.
Because there are specific meditation techniques that you can learn that help you to release and let go of effort and help you to be neutral about what's putting you into effort.
Master of doublespeak.
I know. And I talk about those a lot, grounding and centering on this show. So, if you learn those few basic techniques, you can actually focus them at helping you let go of effort. But, in addition to that, set your intentions before you start your meditation and affirm your desire to enter an effortless state. By focusing your thoughts and setting your intentions, you will increase the chance that you will be able to meditate without effort. Because energy follows thought. So you're focusing your energy on being in an effortless state. And following on from that, specifically direct your energy. So actively let go of the thoughts and beliefs that you are holding that say meditation is hard as soon as you begin. Okay, so discount, let go of those thoughts and replace them with concepts that meditation is easy and that intuition flows effortlessly to you. So switch your beliefs around so that you're believing something different about meditation. And then focus on yourself. Let go of everybody else's ideas about meditation and intuition. Maybe you've got some friends who've tried it and it didn't work for them, and they think it's woo-woo. So let what anyone else thinks about it go, so that you can have your own experience that's uncolored by someone else who thinks it's difficult.
I would even say let go of your own concepts of meditation.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is, talking about distractions of other people, is let go of all your responsibilities and obligations for other people, so they don't distract you while you're meditating, because that will make your meditation more difficult. If you're wanting to meditate, and then you're constantly thinking of other things that you're in effort about, like something that you have to do for your boss and so on. So really just focus on yourself. Let go of all external influences for the time that you meditate.
Another one is let go of doing it right.
Yeah, let go of doing it right. Yeah, I think that was on my list, actually, that there's no perfect way to do it. There are as many ways to meditate as there are people on this earth. So just allow yourself to have your own unique experience. And here's the thing. I mean, you can learn a set of meditation techniques and practice them like I do. But that doesn't mean that every time I meditate that my experience is exactly the same, because it isn't. Because you are different every time you meditate. So let go of your expectations. There's no perfect way to do it, and there's no perfect experience. And so if one day you have an amazing experience while you're meditating, don't turn that into what has to happen next time you do it, because you'll disappoint yourself. Another one is relax. We were talking at the beginning about how really effort is the realm of the physical body. So relax your body. And we talked, I think, last week about breathing exercises that you can do. Put on relaxing background music. Go for a walk first so that your body is a bit loosened up and a bit tired. And there are even some fantastic exercises that you can do to relax your body. So one brilliant meditation in its own right is to actually focus on each part of your body in turn, and specifically focus on relaxing that body part, starting from your toes and your feet, and part by part working your way up to the top of your head. By the time you get to the top of your head, you will be in a more relaxed state. And feel your way into it. Focus on feeling at ease, and believe that you can be at ease, because as you believe, so you will be. And then, another thing I would say is focus on the end game. What is your objective for doing it? What are you wanting out of this? And then, so for example, if your end goal is to have a more calmer mind, then focus on how you believe you would feel if your mind was calmer. So maybe you would feel at peace. If you were meditating because you're depressed and you want to feel more joyful, focus on the feeling that you are wanting the meditation to lead you into. And just by focusing on it, you will start to change your vibration. Be amused, talking about changing vibration. So don't take things so seriously. Sometimes, and especially when we're going into effort, and if we're trying really hard to meditate and going into effort, that's a very serious way to be. So let go of the seriousness. Be amused. And, on that note, there are some people who really set up their spiritual practice almost as a kind of martyrdom. I have to do this at 4 a.m. I have to get up and I have to meditate for 2 hours because that's the best time to do it. And, I have to give up eating these types of foods and I can only eat those, and they have a whole self-sacrifice regimen around their practice. And, it's sort of like saying, well, I have to use a thorn to remove a thorn. Well, you don't have to use a thorn to remove a thorn. Maybe you could use a feather or something else. So, don't sacrifice yourself and surrender. Let go of all sense of doing and enter a state of being. Just enter a state of complete surrender. For the time that you're meditating, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to be or go anywhere. Just let go completely, surrender. And, acceptance. Don't try and fix yourself. Don't try and change yourself. Just enter a state of acceptance. Because when you're in a state of acceptance, you're allowing the flow and you're not in effort. So, Corey, any more come up to your mind while I was talking there?
No, not really.
No,
Just, I guess the most important part for me would be to. I like what you say about meditating, about meditation. I think it's very apropos. You set yourself some loving goals as opposed to critical goals on meditating. And, love yourself into it as opposed to force yourself into it. That's just basically it.
Great, thank you. There's some, let's say, traditional approaches to this question of effort and being in effort that come from different spiritual belief systems, and they're actually quite different to one another. So the Confucius, the ancient sort of Chinese mystic, would say, carve and polish your block. And what that approach is to counteract something by doing it more. So the idea would be is if you try really, really, really hard for a really long time, eventually your trying will fall away. And so the approach of a Confucianist to this would be to engage in, rituals and to study hard and, to do a whole bunch of stuff that does require effort in the hope that one day that they would make a shift. I must say, that's not one that attracts me. It doesn't sound like an easy way. But then the Taoists would do the opposite. They would uncarve the block, and that is to undo all your learning, drop out of society, let go of all of your programming, because they would say, social learning corrupts the mind, and you want to free yourself of that. And so I would say I'm not inclined to run away from society completely, but this idea of undoing the programming that causes you to believe meditation is hard, for sure. And then, of course, the Buddhists advocate a state of non-attachment. And I think many people find solace in that approach. However, I would liken it to this, that, the purpose for meditation is to enter the flow of life, to enter the river and flow with the current. And, the people who are not doing it are standing on the bank looking at it saying that looks interesting. The people who are in a state of non-attachment are flowing ethereally in the clouds above the river. And that's just my perspective. And it's funny, I say that just because I met somebody over the weekend that had been doing that practice, and energetically they really were not not in their life at all. So I kind of piqued my curiosity about that. Welcome back to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Leslie. My name is Dr. Leslie Phillips and I am your host, and I am joined by Corey.
Hello.
And we're now taking your calls, folks.
From Vina. Vina would like to know, I'm planning on starting an e-commerce business. I have a few different ideas for products and was wondering which direction to focus on. Handmade fashion accessories, jewelry and bags, by indigenous artisans from all over the world, my illustrations on cards, prints, etc., merchandise, cute, funny animal art. I think she's looking for...
So are there three things there?
No, there's two. Handmade fashion accessories, jewelries and bags by indigenous artisans from all over the world, or her illustrations on cards, prints, etc., and merchandise, cute, funny animal art.
Okay, so there's basically stuff collected from artisans around the world, which is a collection of different various things, or her art made into a product. I'll take a look.
Okay.
So I'm just tuning into this lady, folks, and tuning into her energy, and I'll take a look at the idea of the... So... the one that looks like it has the higher frequency of energy is working with your own art. The idea of the importing handmade artifacts from artisans around the world, it looks highly competitive. It looks quite complicated to set it up, and for you it's not really registering. Now, doing something with your own artwork is registering, but it looks like it might require some further strategizing and some further evolvement beyond the current ideas that you have for what you might do for that. So I'm just seeing that it's sort of, at the moment, it looks like a diffuse cloud of energy instead of a pinpointed focus, intention and direction. And so, and I'm also seeing that on the one hand that this is, your artwork is what's unique about you. On the other hand, the type of product that you're thinking of doing with the artwork is not unique, and a lot of people are doing it, and that's also competitive. So it's sort of like coming up with that idea of how you can put what's unique about you into a unique product offering that would be appealing to people. And to me, it looks like it's almost there, but it's not quite there. So you might want to spend some more time meditating on it. All right. So that's my help for Vina.
Lovely. I'm sure she'll appreciate that. And I have a question from Bella. And Bella asks, I am passionate about soul-level animal communication and would like to know if this is a career that provides the best service I can offer, as well as supports me financially. Otherwise, is a yoga instructor or personal trainer better suited?
Wow. You've got a theme going on there, Corey.
Could be.
Okay, so let's take a look for this lady at her focus for what she wants to do. So it just takes me a moment, listeners, to tune into the different people. So I'm tuning into this lady, and we're looking at being an animal communicator. We're looking at being a yoga instructor, And what was the third one? Personal trainer. I just wrote personal down and then I forgot what it was. Personal trainer. Okay, so let's see. Personal trainer, yoga instructor, an animal communicator. Well, it's kind of interesting. So when I looked at this, I sort of imagined you standing at the junction in a path that went in 3 different directions, and one of those things was at the a path to each of those. And it looks like the path that you chose was the animal communicator. That was the path that you chose, the path that you and it's kind of interesting. So it looks like that's what you want. It looks like you could choose any of them and there wouldn't be a wrong choice, but it looks like the one that you want to choose is the animal communicator. But you're looking for validation so that you can. It's almost like your own permission isn't enough for you to decide. So you're looking for some external validation that that's the right choice. Well, I'm actually seeing there isn't a right choice, but it looks like that's the one that you want to make, and that. But I'm also seeing that, you know, sometimes it's almost like we think, well, if I make this choice, then the choice is made, and there, boom, that's created. But of course, there's a little pathway that leads to the destination in all of these cases. So it's sort of like, it looks like you're not there necessarily in any of them. Or maybe it looks like maybe you might be closer to the others than the animal communicator, but it looks like that's the one that you're wanting. And of course, there's no reason not to be able. If you do have other skills, there's no reason not to be able to set your life up so that you have this mosaic. You know, at least temporarily, while you're transitioning into the one that you really want to do, if they allow you to make money in that transition period. So, I mean, that's really my answer. I'm looking at the choice that you want to make, and it looks like it's the animal communicator. But I think if you did end up choosing any of those, there's not one that stands out as being any better or worse than the others to me. All right, Corey, that's my help for Bella.
Okie dokie, I'm sure she'll appreciate it. And that's sort of what I got as well, that it's not directed in one direction all the time. There's sometimes you can do a multitude of combinations. Okay, I have a question from Leon. Leon wants to know, will my life get any better soon?
That's a future time question there, Leon, but I'll take a look anyway.
You could always go, yes.
Then he'll believe it, and it will. Well, let's take a look. I'll see why you're asking that question. What's going on? Well, I'm seeing in one way the reason that you are saying that your life is not good or wanting it to get better has something to do with your perspective. And I'm seeing that it looks like you're taking a specific perspective on your life and a specific perspective on what's a good life and what's not a good life, in a way. Give me a moment. Well, really what it is, and it's a bit like what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, it looks like you're taking a very body-centered approach to a perspective on your life, and meaning that you're not really... not really taking a spiritual approach. And give me a moment, because as soon as that comes out of my mouth, my intellect kicked in and went, well, what's somebody writing into a psychic or an intuitive if they're not taking a spiritual approach? So give me a moment. Okay. It's like this. You know, some people, when they meet a challenge in their life, are able to say, I'm not enjoying this. However, I can see how I'm learning from it. And I can see when I get through the other side of it, how that will have expanded my consciousness. And that's the missing piece I'm seeing with you, that you're not at the moment taking that perspective on your circumstances. It's just when's this going to get better because this sucks. But I'm seeing, if you keep your mindset stuck in the when's this going to get better because this sucks, it's just going to keep you in the position of when's this going to get better because it sucks. When's this going to get better because it sucks? Because what you're putting out is, I'm the match to the vibration of when's this going to get better because it sucks. Whereas if you were able to move yourself to a higher perspective, which would say, I'm not enjoying this. I prefer something different. But at least it's taught me what I do and don't like, or something like that, and then at least be having the beliefs that it can get better and it will get better, and you intend it to get better, because you see, Leon, you create your reality through your beliefs. And so whatever self-talk you're telling yourself is creating your reality. And so that's really what I'm seeing. Always when somebody says, will this happen or will that happen, always the answer is, it depends on you. It depends on you, because you create your reality. And so I would say, if you stay where you are and continue with the thought patterns and beliefs that you have, it will stay the same. And if you change them, it will shift. Welcome back to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Leslie. And for those of you who wrote in during the week with your questions, thank you. And it'll be our delight to answer a few more of those.
Yes. This one this one came in a couple of weeks ago, and I think I've read it a couple of times. One of those ones I'm not sure if we put on air or not, but let me read it to you and you can maybe tell me. I don't know. Iona, this is from Iona. Can you help me to reveal what psychic abilities I have? Do I have more than one? I was told that I was born with a very uncommon strength, but if this force is not channeled in the correct way, the repercussions can be very serious harm to me and others around me.
Okay, we haven't done that one. We do get a lot of that question, like, what are my psychic abilities, which is why it sounds familiar. But that particular one, I know that we haven't done it, so I will take a look for this person. And of course, now the first thing that I'm being drawn to look at is your crown chakra. And that's an energy center on the top of your head. And there are two aspects. One is called trance mediumship, and the other is called claircognizance or knowingness. So the claircognizance or the knowingness is that type of intuition where you just instantly know something. You don't know how or why, but you just instantly know. The trance mediumship is the ability to bring spirit into the physical body. So, and both of those abilities we all have them. Okay, so they're not particularly rare, but this is the area that's coming up to talk to you about, Iona. And now, let's see how to explain this. You know, in our history in this world, we can think about people who have managed to control large groups of other people. And for example, Hitler. Hitler was an example of an out-of-control trance medium. Okay, so that's somebody who's really accessing a lot of energy and information through their crown chakra, but they are directing it inappropriately. So what can happen when somebody has a crown chakra awakening is they suddenly become aware of how much they know. And they can become convinced that their information is right for everybody. And they can almost feel godlike, you know, and that they have the right to impose their information on everybody else. Now, however, another perspective is that each one of us has a crown chakra, and each one of us is able to access our own information. And so just because you access a piece of information doesn't necessarily, it may be right for you, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is right for everybody else. And so I'm seeing that actually what you were told in a way was not incorrect. I mean, it was probably, it looks like the information was given you in a slightly misleading way, but I'm seeing that this is for you the area of challenge and growth is your crown chakra, and does relate to how you use your crown chakra, and whether you use it to control other people or whether you use it to focus on yourself. And so to be sort of spiritual master of that energy center, you would really be using that for yourself. And if you were not in control of it, then you would be consciously or unconsciously manipulating others. And so when they talk to you about, it has the chance to do serious harm to yourself and others, well, that would be it. Because whenever we control another person consciously, we create through someone else's space, then, you're being invasive, and, that you create your reality through what you're doing in the present moment. And so, yes, there would be repercussions to you as well. So I'm seeing that that's what it is. It's to do with the transmediumship and the knowingness and the crown chakra. And, it's so funny sometimes when a psychic tells you you've got this amazing gift, it makes us feel special. But I'm seeing, in a way, these things are a double-edged sword, because then it's all about, well, how do I manage this? How do I get it under control? And of course, like I said, one extreme example of this is Hitler, and he didn't get it under control in his lifetime. So I think that answers Iona's question. I could go on and give more information about this whole thing, but she just wanted to know, what is it? And that's what it is.
Okay. I have a question from Elan. And Elan, female Elan.
Elan.
Yeah. My boyfriend broke up with me, and said he fell out of love for no reason. Being extremely unsatisfied with that, I tried a few white magic love spells, even though it felt wrong in my heart. And now I feel awful. I feel that I've added negative karma to my presence. I'm in the process of trying to reverse the spells. Is there any way I can clear up my karma or rid this awful choice of mine that went against my gut feeling? What can I do? Could you do a karma cleansing? I'm extremely paranoid that I've done evil. I honestly don't think that the spells worked out, but the intention felt wrong.
Okay, so I'll just call her L, and let's take a look. Anne. Okay, so give me a moment. So I'm just taking a look. I'm seeing you're judging yourself very harshly here. And the self-judgment actually is the thing that's keeping the keeping this going in a way. It's like any time we throw energy at another person, it's whether that energy impacts that other person. It really depends on them and whether they are an open target for that. So that energy could have reached your boyfriend and just flown through him, or it could have stuck. If it's stuck, then in a way that's part of his life experience that he's choosing to have. Okay, so I can take a look at him specifically in a minute, but just looking at you, it just looks like you've really judged yourself very, very harshly. And, I'm seeing the way to unlock the kind of energetic status quo that you've got yourself into is to forgive yourself, forgive yourself, accept the situation, accept that you've learnt from this, and the forgiveness is, it looks like just if you're able to forgive yourself and love yourself and even get a little bit amused about this, then the energy will start moving again and you will start to feel better. And it's not like you've committed a crime against a crime. People do this kind of stuff all the time, and so I would just not be so hard on yourself. Let me see what else can I, and I'm going to give you a hand as well, just starting to move on from this. And of course, it's so funny that we got this question after the last one, because it's also about, when someone's behaving in a certain way, and we wish that they were different, and it's an attempt to control that person and make them behave the way that you want them to. But here's the thing, here's one of the kind of laws of the universe. We're always talking about the law of attraction. Well, here's another law of the universe. Your energy works in your space. It's not meant to be in somebody else's space. And so you get the joy of creating your own reality. So if somebody walks out the door and's never coming back, and you still want a relationship, well, guess what? You can create it. It might not be with that other person, but you can create it. You don't. And in fact, if you just focus on trying to revitalize it with that one person, you really narrowing down your options and closing the door on somebody that could be a much better match. And so I think I've kind of said enough on that one. What was she asking for help with specifically, Corey? Just
basically a cleansing of her karma.
Oh, right, okay. Well, I've given her a healing, and I've told her how to get the energy to move, which is to forgive herself. So we can do another question.
Sure. This is a question from Aaron. And Aaron would like to know, my life's journey is unknown. I almost feel as if something is missing. I want to become pregnant and to be a mom, but I'm torn if I should advance my career or do it later, etc. I don't know.
Okie dokie. Let's take a look at Erin. And she says, my life's journey is uncertain. Okay. So
correct.
Well, what's happening with Erin, and again, it goes back to the original theme of the show in a funny way, in that we were talking about the difference between body and spirit. And what I'm seeing going on is a battle between body and spirit. You're in a female body. the female body has a biological imperative to reproduce. It's kind of like, I'm a female body and this is what I'm meant to do. So I really, really want a baby, and I really, really want you to get on with it, and what's wrong and why aren't you pregnant yet? Whereas you, the spiritual being, have all sorts of ways in which you would like to create your reality. And it looks like having a baby is one of them, but it's one amongst a list of things that you want to achieve for yourself, or want to create for yourself this lifetime. And so it looks like as spirit, it's on the list, but it's not necessarily. Let me see. It looks like it's something that is not number one, top of the to-do list, in a way. And so it looks as though what you could do is have a dialogue between body and spirit. So talk to your body and explain to it how you understand that it's a female body and it wants to have a baby, and reassure it that actually you would like that too, that it is your intention that to get pregnant one day and have a child or more than one child. But that, just keeping it in the loop, FYI, there's a few other things that you'd like to do first. But you haven't forgotten that this is something that, we're wanting to do together. And so, so then the body is not fighting you, and hopefully that will help it calm it down a bit.
Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to another Unlocking Your Truth podcast by Dr. Leslie Phillips. For more information, go to our website at drlesleyphillips.com. That's drlesleyphillips.com, where you can ask questions or send her an email, and there's many free gifts on there for you as well. Come back again.